Let's talk about the latest version of AlgoBox and all the new stuff that's coming on the new release. Let's get into it right now. Let's get into those release notes and talk about it. So make sure you go and download the latest. Current version as of today is 9.145. Hit that download button if you are looking for the link for this. This will be in your area where if you log into the members section on the website, or over there in Discord channel chat in the premium member section, or if you are new with us, you need to go over and download the 2-week free trial and get that downloaded. That will take you eventually to this page once you have filled out the forms. If you have been here with us, you do not need to fill out that form again. So quick note on that. Now, special note, once you have downloaded, make sure you uninstall the old version first. We have lots of videos on how to do that, so make sure you've gone through those. Let me get myself out of the way here and take a peek at the updates in this latest version. Sorry, I think the number right there is wrong. It's actually 1.4.5. These are the release notes. So we've got the bug fix on the speedometer, the causing the slowness with excess file writes. It's very important to install the latest. Again, it is 0.5, not 4. Sorry for the slide there. The top and bottom margins, this is big. We did a video on this recently, making sure that as you are looking at your chart there, that you've got that extra space up there at the top, so that you are not having to fidget around with your chart so much. It gives you that extra space for visibility. That's more of an aesthetic thing, but it is very, very important, I think, to keep you from kind of fidgeting around with your charts and using and keeping your mouse over there by the buttons as you're executing. Next one there, more room on the primary entry charts and the MACV. This is again one of those aesthetics. You're going to see that when you install it. There will be some more spacing there on those. The bar notifier has been re-added. Those of you guys who were asking about the bar notifier, this is you guys have heard me in my videos when I'm waiting for an 89 bar to complete, waiting for that next one to launch. Sometimes it's handy to have a little ding there. So there's an auto notifier. Yeah, it's a little small feature, but it's there. The 4K screen, this is the biggest one right here. I want you guys who are, a lot of people have 1080p's or trying to do this on laptops. Again, I recommend that you guys go to our hardware video and look at the recommended settings. We really should be using 4K today in modern times. 4K is going to give you that additional space. And it's not about the clarity and resolution. It is about having more pixels, more space to work with. 4K is literally the equivalent of 4 screens in one. Now, mind you, you don't want a small screen. You need to get those bigger screens, but go check out the hardware videos on that. For the 4K support, what we've got installed with the new version, we've got the workspaces there already for you. I'm going to show you those here in just a moment in my next slide. Speaking of slides, hopefully if my slides will work here for me. Last one is performance enhancements on CPU overhead calculations. You will find that things are a lot snappier. And again, this is 9.1.4.5. Sorry for that one. Let's get into it. All right, so I have launched up the most recent version here, and you're going to be presented initially with our standard 5-chart layout here. Yours will look like this. This is standard 1080p. Now, again, if you're a 4K screen, this will be a lot smaller up in their top left-hand corner type of thing. And what we want to do is come here and I'll show you guys some of the workspaces. So if you're on a 4K screen, you will notice there are some new ones here. The main ones are, you've got the new 4K single screen, and you've got the 4K dual screen. The 4K dual screen, let me draw out what this is going to look like on a blank here. So on the 4K screen setup, this is going to be assumed to be your larger screen setup. Is either going to be your 43-inch or your 55-inch 4K. Remember, that is divided up into 4 sections like this, so that you've got our 4 instruments for the minis or micros, depending on which one you're doing. And then assumed on the left that you have another screen that you're going to be having charts in. We want 2 of these lined up. And of course, this one is going to be all divided out for you as well. And you do not have to set this up for yourself anymore. All this is going to be laid out for you. And this should be super helpful for you. The grid layout is fairly simple, but this is all done for you. Again, sometimes that is real pain. So this is a 2-screen setup. This is assumed to be a 1080p on the left, and this is a 4K on the right. And you go through our hardware section to see what that means. Again, these are 2 separate monitors in general if you're going to be loading up that dual screen, but you will like this when you launch this up. All of the audio settings, if you guys who have been used to having to set up all your audio and things, we fixed that in one of our most recent versions where we kind of released that with the workspaces all set up for you with the audio alerts on each instrument. So that's going to be handy for you. I'm going to go ahead and launch up one of these dual screens for myself here and we'll take a peek at what that is. Make sure you close out the 1080p. Again, we've talked about this in one of our first sets of videos. Never have multiples open at the same time. You want to have just one. So I'm going to go ahead and click on that. We're going to go to the dual screen now. And this will put one on the left. Again, if you've got a different configuration and yours is set up maybe over on the right or something, that's going to be okay. But this is how we're laid out. You can change yours up if you need to. Okay, so if you are one of those set up with the 4K on the right and the left one with the 1080p, this is what your layout's going to look like. It's going to look a little bit cramped here trying to look at this on YouTube, but your main idea is that up here we've got YM, down below you're going to have NQ, to the right you've got ES, and bottom right down there you've got the RTY. Now if you also have your secondary screen on the left, notice that these are divided into 3 screens on each one, like this. So you'll have your three charts, and you've got your slightly higher entry, you've got your lowest on the ripples, and then you've got the MACV here on the left, and of course your tide and waves are going to be over there on the other screen. This is for the dual screen setup. Let me show you guys what it looks like if you're going to do just 4K alone if you're on a single screen. Okay, so picking up where we left off, we've got our 12 chart set up for our main 4K. And then we've got the other setup here I wanted to talk about here. Let me show you this one here real quick. So what we're trying to describe here is this. So you got your left side, maybe a 27 or a 32, 55 in the center. You've got the 4 instruments in the middle. And each one of those sections, so this NQ section looks like this. You should have this divided out into your 3s. This is already laid out for you with this left side and the right side. This is the proper configuration. We take care of this side. Now remember, you still need to take care of this side. Over here on the right, we do recommend a 3rd monitor there with your Discord layouts with the public Discord, the Discord news, and the MACV Ultimate. Now, speaking of that, I would like to show one of the configurations, one of our members. You might want to make this modification. We don't have this applied to you, but you may want to look at this one. This is actually one of my absolute favorite setups. I think this is so cool, super handy if I can zoom into this. Look what's here in the center. They've got their MACV lined up all the way down here in the middle, and they've used some neat little plugins. Ask in the room there on the left-hand side, we've got a section there walking you through how to remove the Discord plugins, or how to use the plugin to remove the left side and the right side of Discord so you don't have the menus, and all you have is just the pure middle there. Really, really neat to set up your browser like this. If you're confused by what this is, ask in the room here on what that is, and somebody can point you to where and how you can set this up. But they've squeezed in the 3 charts on each to the left and the right and made a little sliver room here in the middle so that they can see the current MACV Ultimate. Very, very cool layout. I think that's super duper handy. So let's go into the single screen layout now. All right, so to go to our single screen 4K, one 4K screen, you're going to select this one here. This is going to be the AlgoBox 4K single screen right there. Let's go ahead and click on that one and make sure, well, let's do this the right way. Make sure you close the old one. You want to save it, yes. And let's do single screen. And don't forget, I told you guys before in one of the first sets of videos, you want to make sure that you are closing out your other workspaces. Don't have 2 workspaces open, and save your workspace as another name, because remember, we are going to overwrite those workspaces. So if you do any customizations that you want to get back or something like that, make sure that you save a spare. So for instance, if you have a 4K single screen, don't just leave it as that name. Maybe if your name is, I don't know, Sharon, then do put a little underscore Sharon at the end, and maybe have underscore Sharon V1, Sharon V2, have a couple of backups of your workspaces is always a good idea in my opinion. You kind of see my method here where I'll do 1080p underscore VM, and I'll put that for myself, or modded underscore mod there, or if I'm testing something, having other names there. So make sure that you save those as others, because every installation that we do, we are going to use the same names, and we will overwrite those. If you want to save them, you'll need to put those on. Although I do recommend not really having just your own, especially now that we are putting out layouts for you. You really should be applying the latest stuff, because oftentimes there are things in the workspaces themselves, like right now, where there are performance items inside of the templates themselves. You make sure that you are using the latest templates in order to take advantage of those. All right, so let's zoom out and let me show you the show all here. Here we go. So this is what the one screen setup would look like. A little more busy, although again, some people may absolutely like this. If you want to see everything all in one place, if you are a high time frame player, like I think this is a neat little setup right here coming into NQ. You see that coming in on the 89 right at the top of the golden ropes. You see that we've got the activity in play from the bottom. We've moved up into a two-legged move into a power dot drop, boom, pow. Very, very nice setup there. And if you want to see that, it's all right there in the space here with NQ. So I could see why this kind of layout can still be an advantage, and particularly for, you know, a setup like mine where I've got my 4K is a little bit different than yours. Yours might be like this as well if you've got 6 screens set up like I do. This whole section, these 4 27s end up being my equivalent of one 4K. This is larger than a 55, but it's all kind of curved in at you. I really like this layout still. I can't kind of get away from it. Then my left-hand panel over here, I've got a little bit of an odd layout myself, and so I use my top left one in a 1080p style, and I have to adjust mine off on the left to make mine just right. And again, you can take our charts that we've already applied and move them around for yourself according to, you know, how you've got your system all laid out. So when I zoom into one quadrant of mine, here's what NQ looks like for me. Bottom left there is the wave, and we've got the high time frame 89, got your middle. So all of that is there in the 4K single screen layout. And let me come back up here to screen 8. So again, those are your new workspaces. Make sure you are using those in the latest update. And if you guys have questions, post them in the chat. I'll catch you in the next one.